Levi Trumbull reporting in Hagerstown, Maryland with the Herald-Mail as our backdrop. We are here with Shaun Porter. He would like to respond to an article which was recently published by one of the editors here. The title of that article is "With Rights Come Responsibilities and the Potential for Abuse." Now, in this article, Shaun Porter is not flat out mentioned by name, but he is clearly referred to, and there's portions in the article that refer to the fact that what Shaun Porter might be doing with his protests could be considered an abuse of the First Amendment. And we're going to get into all of that here today. So Shaun Porter, what is your initial reaction when you saw this article published by this newspaper publishing company?
Well, clearly she's not up to date on anything related to the First Amendment, like since the First Amendment came out in 1791.
Remind us of who was the editor who published this article?
Okay, it's a little known person I would never associate with. Tamela Baker is her name, and she is known for going after YouTubers, citizen journalists, and bloggers. She actually went after and tried to block a very, very prominent, dynamic journalist named Ryan Miner with a podcast and a web blog. They also do these podcast videos that are pretty cool. He's one of the most influential political reporters and bloggers that's in the Maryland area, and they tried to block him from the State House, saying he's not a real reporter because they're jealous of the fact he gets so much more circulation than the Herald-Mail does, at least in my opinion.
Okay, so one of the first questions I want to ask you is, it was suggested in this article that what you do could be an abuse of the First Amendment. What do you make on that? Because when somebody says to me an abuse on the First Amendment, the first thing that I would think of is a defamatory falsehood that amounts to a lie. Like, what's your interpretation of that?
So the Westboro Baptist Church case cleared this up for all Americans once and for all.
Yes. Snyder versus Phelps.
You have the right to freedom of speech in America, and I didn't say anything on my sign that wasn't true. I just said that I'm not a gynecologist, but that I know a when I see one. And it has a picture of Nora Roberts, and it says, "F your woke politics, Nora," because that's my opinion of her and her politics. Now, I've had signs out there for years with worse words on it, but they picked this particular one because this lady seems to be like a fan of Nora Roberts and is trying to gain, curry favor with Nora Roberts. So she wrote this article talking about how it's not working, and she was all snarky and stuff. Well, if it's not working, Tamela Baker, how do you know my name? How do you know my sign? How do you know where my sign is located? Clearly my sign is working because you found out about it as a journalist and you're reporting on it. If it's not working, how come it's a story? How come it's newsworthy? Because it is working, and she is just player hating. Okay,
so they actually, if anyone reads the article, they actually would not mention Shaun Porter by name. However, they clearly are referencing you. What did you make of the fact that they would not mention you by name?
I just think that, she's not confident with her reporting, and that she knows that she's doing a hack job, and that it's not very well written. And I would never associate with this woman. So the fact that she knows about me, the sign, where it's located, shows that my sign is working and that my methods are successful. And basically, she wouldn't be attacking me if I wasn't a threat to her newspaper and her style of reporting, which is with the daily paper that she does with the Herald-Mail, which nobody reads. I mean, it's basically they just regurgitate Associated Press stories and do very little local reporting. Unlike me, I'm all local reporting.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there was a suggestion in this article that your behavior is that of a 10-year-old. And again, I want to be clear for the comment that I personally reached out to the editor in question with a litany of questions. As of 2 p.m., I have not heard back. There was a suggestion, like I said, that your behavior is that of a 10-year-old. What do you make of that?
I am very insulted that she would say I act like a 10-year-old, because all of my ex-girlfriends will tell you I act more like a 12-year-old.
At any point, did this editor reach out to you for a request for comment to get your side of things?
It's worse than that. I checked with county roads, and they don't even have any complaints about my sign, and people are actually stopping traffic to take pictures of the sign, to get out and take pictures with the sign. They're actually backing up in the middle of the road to take pictures and to get their pictures taken with a sign, and they love it. I get thumbs up all the time. I've had zero negative reactions from anybody, so clearly they share the exact same opinion of Nora Roberts as I do. She's basically like the boss hog of Boonesboro. She buys up all these properties and she runs businesses and she attacks the locals, or at least the people that staff her businesses do, including physically dumping a bucket of water on me, which happened at the Boonesboro Inn, or the Inn at Boonesboro, a business owned by Nora Roberts. They didn't like my anti-Nora Roberts protest on public property in front of the business, so I got attacked by a bucket of water.
What do you think her motivations are to write something like that? Do you think it comes from the top, or do you think she gets a thorn in her tail and says, you know what, this Shaun Porter guy, he's upsetting me, and she wants to, sort of soft stick it to you? What do you think it is?
Clearly she knows that I'm like an 11 out of 10, and she's totally jealous that I wouldn't even look her way. She's the type of woman, at least from what I've seen, the pictures of Tamela Baker, is that she's the type of chick that couldn't even get at a frat party if she had money and free food for the starving college kids. That's my opinion.
Okay, right, that's your opinion. How do you think this coverage right here compares to some of the other news coverage that you have been a part of?
In my opinion, they're typists for the Democrat National Committee. The DNC, whatever their talking points are, seems to come out of the Herald-Mail. If the Democrat Party is supporting one position, the Herald-Mail seems to support that position.
Would you ever engage with them?
I would never get engaged to Tamela Baker. No, I mean, I drink a fucking ton, but I don't drink that much.
So to close out, I would just like to ask you, where do you think the Herald-Mail goes from here? Like, say, 5 years, where's the Herald-Mail?
Well, right now we're in front of a mostly vacant building with, I counted 3 cars behind it. So I guess there's at least 3 employees, but it used to be a bustling facility when they actually reported the news, but that hasn't happened in a long time, at least in my opinion. I think that this place would make a really good hookah lounge or maybe a strip club. They're building a baseball stadium right next door. They might as well take the wrecking ball they got over there on that crane you can see from where we're standing and just knock this building down, because it is ugly, it's old, I can smell it from over here. It's like homeless urine mixed with like low-grade vodka is the stench coming off the place. There's a bunch of trash, a bunch of empty cigar butts and stuff laying around. It's disgusting over there. So I don't see a future for the Herald-Mail in this community because no one supports them. No one seems to read them. And like I said, I didn't even know about this, and none of my friends knew about it. I got it from another journalist just seeking comment on it. And, my comment was, F them.
So there you have it. That is Shaun Porter's response to this article, which he is referenced in, not by name, but you can clearly, if you read it, you will know that they are clearly referencing Shaun Porter. I thought it was important to let him tell his side of the story, since this newspaper seemingly did not allow him to do that. And as always, if the Herald-Mail would like to provide comment, we are always welcome to take their side of the story. Levi Trumbull reporting outside of the Herald-Mail in Hagerstown, Maryland.